Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. Oh, come on, computer. Hello, everybody. Having some trouble here with the computer. How are you? Hello. Can you hear me, guys? Yeah, it was a day off. You should have the PDFs now. We're going to be doing a basic samba. Okay, so you have the PDFs, and what I'm trying to do, well, what I'm doing, not trying to do, is show the students the importance of learning how to read. Now, I want to be working from the stick control book and the syncopation book. Now, it's easier to work at first through the stick control book. But your reading skills have to come into view for the syncopation book. Very basic reading, but we could have a lot of fun. You know, that's one of the problems with learning how to read. You know, a lot of guys been playing 5, 10, 15 years. They try to do play-alongs, they do cover tunes, they're playing in the band, and they don't know the language of the drumming. So what I'm trying to do, and I originally, Renzo, how you doing? What I'm trying to do is, like I said, show you the reason why, you know, you need to learn how to read, and try to make reading a little bit more fun with the drum set application. So now, let's go to the samba. It's a basic samba. And what I do when I play a samba, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing an eighth note in 16ths. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. My bass drum is with my 1, 2. Hey, Paul. Now, it's usually an up tempo. What I want to do is bring it down a notch. And I want to take the right hand, instead of thinking of it as 1E and the 2 and the 3, I want to think of the right hand as 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. It makes it a lot easier to get the basic pattern down in the feel. Now the bass drum is on 1, 3, 1, 3, and 1, 3, 1. Hey Ed, how you doing? So now we have the hi-hat is going to be on 2 and 4. 1. So that's going to be our pattern. Let me break that down a little slower. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Look at the right hand. There's the level system in it. It's down. Free stroke, down, of free stroke, down. 1, 2. Now look at the left foot. It's on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, now the bass run. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now up tempo a little bit. It really swings. 1. Instead of going, we're not going there yet. Eventually you will. So now, that establishes the right hand, the bass drum, and the hi-hat. What about the left hand? Well, it's like anything else when you learn a jazz pattern, how to develop jazz independence or four-way coordination. There are a tremendous amount of possibilities here. So I'm going to take my snare drum and put it on tom. Now I can play the left hand part, just my left hand here, or I can use a rim. That's just fooling around. All right, so now, left hand. We're going to go to the stick control book and say, okay, Mr. Stick Control, Mr. Stone, you've come up with a brilliant, brilliant book that is going to be etched in the drumming community for eternity. So, we go to page 5, line 1. And I say to myself, okay, how can I get a left-hand pattern against what I'm playing with the right hand, the bass drum, and the hi-hat, which is really an ostinato. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to play the first line. I'm going to look at the first line and say, I'm taking all the rights out. So if I take all the rights out, and I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, all my lefts are going to be on the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to contain it just on the snare drum like that, against this pattern. Line 1. Nice and easy. Now we go to the same interpret. We all understand that, correct? Now we go to line 2, and we eliminate all the rights. The lefts fall on 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if I want to do, I'm actually on the downbeat there. So I have on the upbeat and the downbeat. So I like to hang out with line 1 and line 2 over and over again. Line 1, and then right to line 2. 2, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, it's basically easy. And actually, there's not a whole lot of reading skills necessary to do this exercise because we're just eliminating all the rights against the pattern. All right, and if you know how to read, it's to your benefit. And if you're doing the PDFs, Renzo, you got the PDFs, and Paul, congratulations on your victory and your placement in your team's standings. Anyway, that's line 1 and line 2. Now I could do all 72 lines and come up with different patterns, different feels. I'm doing the samba, but my left hand, I'm controlling it and saying hello to these different patterns. So what I'd like to do is I will demonstrate 1 through 5. However, I'm contained now with my left hand just on the snare. But I can move it around after I play it for a while. What I highly recommend, get the pattern down, put the metronome on, and play line 1 for about 5 minutes. Then take a breather, go to line 2 for 5 minutes. Then what you want to do is do line 1 and line 2, line 1 and line 2. So you get the feeling of the downbeat and the upbeat against the pattern. Then you go to some of the variables and you start with line 3. If I eliminate the rights and I go to line 2, I have now I've eliminated. It's presented to you as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I'm eliminating the rights, so it's going to just be my left hand on 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and against the pattern. 1. I go to line 4 and it reverses itself. Now I eliminated the rights, so the lefts are going to be on 1 and 3 and 1. And line 5 is the piece. I love line 5. Would anybody like me to break any of those lines down a lot slower, or do we understand all of them? Just a matter of making a flow, feeling good, and in a groove, in a pattern. Would anybody like me to demonstrate any of one of those lines a little bit slower and break it down somewhat more? Yes, no, maybe, perchance, bringamanga. Because there's all different drummers that will be viewing this. Okay, Marcio. All right. What I'm trying to say is there's going to be drummers of all levels viewing this after the stream is done, and I don't know. Okay, everybody's got it. All right. Now, the thing is, I get guys in there who've been playing for 5 years. I get guys who've been playing for 30 years. Some took lessons, some didn't take lessons. They don't have a system on reading. So let's go to the syncopation book, lesson 12. That's going to be page 30. So everybody let me know when they get it. Nico, Dimas, how are you? Is it your first time here, Nico? Would you like the PDFs for today? You email me. Let me put my email in here. Everybody get the syncopation book out. Page 30, lesson 12. Let me put my email in here for Nico. So Nico, just email me and I will send you the PDFs. Now we're going to the syncopation book. Okay, page 30, lesson 12. Now here's comes the fun part. Hey Randy, how you doing? All right, you look at line number 1 on lesson 12. Now, I'm just going to basically do it slow and make learning how to read fun. If you don't know how to read, you can't start at this particular point. So we got to bring it down somewhat. We look at line 1, all right, and it's in 4/4 time. And the counting system that we're going to use here is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, let's read it on one surface, understand how it flows. You don't need to play your bass drum or your hi-hat right now, just a tempo that's consistent, and we're going to play line 1. Now I can use one hand, two hands, or just, I'm just going to demonstrate it with one hand. So here we go, line number 1, lesson 12, page 30. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Now, you need to understand that. The eighth note rest, the quarter note, the value of the note, the language of the learning how to read music. So now, if you know how to read that, not a problem. Now we're going to play this pattern. 1, 3, and again, we're going to contain it just on the snare drum. 1, 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Up tempo a little bit. Now, by going through the stick control book, you're going to find understanding, knowing how to read, and plus using these lines, you're more familiar with them, and it's going to flow a lot better. And like I said, I'm containing it just on the snare drum right now. However, you could have a little bit of fun with this. You get familiar with it, just keep the pattern going. You have a little bit of experience of putting your left hand in there against the pattern. We're not taking any musical structure. We're not taking any form of music. We're just taking rhythm. And you want to move it around. Now you see what I did with the left hand. There's no right or wrong. As long as you need to play the rhythm, yes, and that has to be right. But to move it around, I mean, I could play it on a small tom, I could play it on the floor tom, the snare drum, or any combination that I would like. And you'll come up with these different feels. The same figure, but different feels. It's just a beautiful thing. Rhythm is just never ending, man. All right, let's go to line 2. Line 2, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's our counting system. So now we have 1 and 2 and sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that's going to be played constant with the snare drum part against the pattern. 1, nice and easy. And again, you want to move it around. You have a lot of fun with it. Just move it around. And you get the experience of that feel. Then when you put a tune on, the music of samba, then you feel it. Ah, that's what he's doing. Then you get into the tune, you get the structure of the tune, the phrasing of the tune, and the name of the tune, and you're in business. Any questions from this point on, gentlemen? Oh. Now, a good exercise to play, everybody, I get some, not complaints, but questions saying, well, I have a problem using that right foot against the patterns. Well, when I first started, I used to have the problem with that until I said, okay, what can I do to better that? Well, number one is you need to control. You need to control what you do when you grab hold of what you do. That's control. So the first thing you want to do is go back to the stick control book and take the first line and run the whole page down, but let's show you how I want to do this. All right, so we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's the first line. Now this is the pattern. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I'm doing the stick control book as the exercise, but I'm now putting, instead of playing at 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, then I hit the left foot. One line at a time. Then you go to line 2, and it's different because now you're sticking his left, right, and you're exercising the stick control book, the beauty of stick control book, against that foot pattern. That will help you. You can't enter this like, you see how it came all distorted? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. And the same thing applies to the syncopation book. Now, it's a good lesson. I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to continue on it Monday at 4 p.m. on this channel. Tonight, we're going to be on my site, which is mattpatellallivelessons.com, and we're going to take the samba in a different formation. I mean, the right hand is consistent, and I've had guys come in here from Brazil, and boy, those guys know how to play the samba. Oh, I'm telling you, that's their native dance, and that's their ethnic background. That's what they do. Like the way we do jazz, the samba is their music. And I've learned a lot from them because you can come in like 1, 2, 3, 4, and play quarter notes. Like 1, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and play it here. It's hard to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 different sounds. Gives you that native effect. Or you can use a mallet or the hot rod or so on and so forth. But you have a lot of fun. One, one. I like to do the samba, but I don't spend a whole lot of time on Latin music or Afro-Cuban music or whatever. I have my hands full with this rock and the funk and the jazz and the hand development. So there's only so much time in a day. So nobody has any questions. The new guys, please email me and I will send you the PDFs. Okay? I think that would conclude the lesson for today. And we'll be back on this channel come Monday rather, excuse me. And that will be 4 p.m. And 4 p.m. seems to work out for everyone, like the West Coast, the East Coast, South America, Europe. I haven't done anything in Southeast Asia yet. I don't think I don't want to deal with that. Anyway. Okay, you email me and I'll send it to you. If you want to come to tonight's lesson, the thing is, I was keeping it open for free, but I can no longer do that. And I'm also going to start a GoFundMe campaign on Facebook and here. And I'd like to get some more lights and cameras and some more mics. So, you know, if you send me $5, you send me $20 or $100, you'll get something in return. No problem. Now, like if you go on Facebook and you go to the Art of Drumming groups, the Syncopation Room, the Stick Control book, the Formula Room, the Morello book. I mean, there's a lot of people. You know, 75, 76,000 members, and that's now becoming a job. So what I do, I would like, you know, have somebody help me, or just $2, $10, but, you know, and that would help me maintain this and bring it to everybody for free. Okay, so there is no questions. We all understand it, and I will be back tonight at 7:30 p.m. on my site. My pleasure, dear John. Paul, you're welcome. David, you're welcome. Randy, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome. You're welcome. Okay, guys. We shall see you tonight, hopefully. And like I said, it's a paid-for site. Let me put the link in here. That's the link to my site. Okay, Nico, we could talk. I have a Skype contact as well. If you want to talk on Skype, my Skype is Matt Patello1. Make contact with me. We'll talk a little bit. Okay, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll see you tonight, 7:30.